This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Does a citizen of a particular country have a role to play in order for a country to achieve its goals?
A citizen does, but the government...
Good. Take a breath. Okay. Do you believe that the consumption of Khat is solely an individual choice?
No.
Good. Do you believe that the government has done nothing towards the employment of people?
The much they have done is not...
Do you believe is the question? Please don't waste my time. Just give me a yes or no answer. Did you say that the government has not provided enough drugs to the people?
Yes.
Good. Did you say that the citizens of Uganda have played their role by voting people to protect them?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Has the government done nothing completely towards the fight of Khat consumption?
Yes, it has done nothing completely.
Okay. Do you believe the government has, through its different movements like parish model funds and NADs, has tried to fight idleness that brings about poverty and unemployment in the people?
What they bring about
Please,
is not sufficient.
Yes or no?
No.
Good. You may take your seat. Our dear judges and the House at large, allow me call your attention to me particularly. So, I have asked her, does a citizen of a particular country have a role to play in order for a country to achieve its goals? And she said, yes. So, is it the government to blame for what the citizen has failed to do? Because if the government has done its role of implementing these laws and the citizens have not complied by them, is it too early to blame the government? Or dear judges, I'll give you an example of a parent and a child. If I advise my child to not steal and he refuses to listen to me, am I the one to blame? I've done my part as a parent. So I've continued to ask her, do you believe that consumption of Khat is solely an individual choice? And she said, no. So she doesn't believe that's an individual choice. It is an individual choice. Because doing something is out of your own will. And that means if the government comes up and says, please don't do this, it's out of your own choice to either do it or not. But the government has done its role. So it's no way to argue with it or blame it. I want to ask her, did you say that the government has not provided enough drugs to the people? And she said yes. But our dear judges, in this particular house today, we believe that the government, through its different organs like the National Drugs Authority, has provided enough drugs to the people, has put up different health centers that provide medical treatment for free. So why does the team of farmers tell us that the government has not provided enough drugs? That's clearly not a case to bring about in this resolution. I've continued to ask her, did you say that the citizens have played their role by voting people to protect them? She said yes. So, if you have voted me to protect you, and I put up laws for you to follow, and you refuse, is it totally my problem for you not to be protected? But I say, please don't go to the adultery, you fall there, and you adamantly go there and you fall. Is it my problem? It's your problem you have not followed the rules I put for you as a person interested with your life. So our dear judges, you can see out of this resolution that the team of farmers are not quite sure what they are talking about. They are not quite sure. The government has done its role, but it is the citizen, different people in the country that are not taking up their part towards the fight of Khat consumption. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My name is Awene Kwemfilpa, and I'm the fourth speaker from the affirmative side. So, dear Speaker, is Khat legal in Uganda or not?
It's not.
It is not legal. Thank you very much. When the citizen has done something wrong, who is supposed to punish the citizen? And failure to comprehend and not punish the citizen, who should be held accountable?
The government.
Thank you very much. Have the parish models been put in place? Do they have corruption scandals or they do not have corruption scandals?
They don't.
Thank you very much. On the border, are there checkpoints? And if they are there, who is supposed to implement the law so that whatever enters the country is legal, not legal, the government or the citizens?
The government has implemented those laws. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you believe that the government is supposed to be held responsible or is supposed to punish any wrongdoer that does something that is against the law they have implemented in the first place?
It has done so.
Do you believe yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Do you also believe that in the social contract theory, it is the mandate of the government to provide the solution for the citizens?
It has provided solutions.
So on the rampant unemployment cases that we have in Uganda, do you believe the government has done something efficient enough?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Is it the role of the government is it only the role of the government to implement laws or to go further ahead? Look where the laws are being implemented and punish where punish need be.
It has done so.
Is it yes or no?
It has done so. You can pick it. It has done so.
Thank you very much. The agencies or the law enforcement agencies that are already supposed to put in place in these parish models, do you believe that there is corruption cases going through them?
No.
Do you believe that Khat is dangerous to the body and should be illegal in the country?
Pardon?
Do you believe that Khat is dangerous and is very bad to the human body, so it should be illegal in the nation like Uganda?
It is.
Thank you very much. My questions are right there. Our dear judge of today, in this speaker, I questioned them. Is Khat legal in Uganda or not? Our dear judges of today, Khat is legal in Uganda. So, vexing on that very point, for the government having failed not made Khat illegal in Uganda, as he suggests that it should be not made legal. On those very points, we come to blame the government because it has not done its efficient role. If the government had made Khat illegal in the first place, then why would we be facing all these problems? The thing for mindset that they really put up through today's debate only comes in if Khat is on the provision. Look at a world where Khat was not illegal in Uganda, or was illegal in Uganda, our dear judge of today. Would we be having high levels of Khat consumption? So the failure of the government not being able to make or implement laws that are supposed to help their citizens at the end of the day, that is why we stand to blame the government our dear today. We asked him a question: has the government done its efficient roles to provide employment to the citizens of Uganda? He said yes, our days. In a country like Uganda, where we have graduates coming out and they have nothing else to do but sit at home, either graze cows if you have them, or just lay around and be idle, our dear today. In their world, the government has done enough. They come with parish models and not our dear today. The same resolutions that they table that the government has done have already failed, and it is very evident. They have corruption scandals in the same government that they praise all day, our dear today. They say that the citizens have a role to play, our dear today. If you put a law that I am not supposed to eat Khat our dear today, or if you give an example of a parent and a child, if I tell my child do not go outside and I do not close the door, I just simply put the law and my child goes outside and gets knocked by a car, whose fault is it at the end of the day? I did not put enforcers to help the law to be implemented, our dear today. We clearly see that it all goes back to the government that does not follow up the laws that it puts in place. It just merely puts laws and leaves it to the people, our dear today, whereby people are desperate. They need jobs, such as people that grow this Khat our dear today, because the government has even failed to provide jobs for these people. So we do believe that at the end of the day, the government should be held responsible for the high consumption levels.
I am really impressed because of the vast improvement that both sides have had from their previous debate. I mean, what would debate be if not a learning environment? What is the value of intellectual discourse if you cannot lend if your colleague cannot lend you some of their knowledge, or if you cannot borrow some of their ideas? Most of you have had changes from your previous rounds. You have strategized better, and I really commend you on that. Straight into the points. So, tonight's resolution was purely a value debate, and both of you understood that. It was a debate where you are supposed to weigh government's responsibility as well as the individual responsibility. That was one of the biggest clash points of the debate. I will tell you the reason as to why I gave it to Team Affirmative. Team Affirmative told you that the social contract theory dictates that in and of itself, as long as the citizens hand over authority to government, the citizens collectively sit together and choose these individuals of people, these individual peoples, to represent them and to bear the power in society. Those people are the regulators, they are the controllers, they are the policy makers. Besides, you fail to substantiate on your claim of the government has done enough. You kept talking about NADS. But NADS as an argument was so far-fetched with regards to Khat consumption. We wanted to hear, have there been any legislative battles fought to regularize or prohibit people from carrying out Khat consumption? Have there been policy frameworks? Has there been regulation in terms of the truck drivers that you blame? That clash point was awarded to Team Affirmative. On the other side, we contrasted that with various schemes that you spoke about in terms of attaching individual responsibility, and said people do various schemes in order to escape the ambit of the government and regulation. However, you failed to substantiate on that. In tonight's debate, I would love to concur with Judge Solomon with the following. The first speaker on Team Affirmative came here and established a case which in and of itself, if we had walked away, would stand alone. Meaning, Team Negative, as long as that still existed, as long as whatsoever argumentation had been fronted in speech one still existed and was not watered down, yours was a wild goose chase. Now, much as they gave such a strong case, I would like to commend the third negator, because you come here and pose important questions. You tell us you are the one who introduces the concept of schemes people use to escape the ambit of government regulation. You came and told us the role of the citizens transcends mere voting in power of the government. And with that, I actually commend you. But that should have come from speech one, because that is a response to the social contract theory. Even after handing over power to these groups of people, it transcends. You still hold that power, and you can still exercise it, and you still have personal opinion and will. You failed substantiate on that. So these are my mark allocations. With style, both of you performed quite well. I gave you 15. With strategy, the affirmers strategy overthrew that of the negative by just 2 marks, because affirmers have 27 and negators have 25. But on content, I strongly deferred and gave Team Affirmative 30 and Team Negative 25.
Thank you so much. I want to begin by appreciating both teams. Really, I'm happy and I'm really thrilled by both teams. The levels of argument, the levels of submissions, the ability to understand the specific type of resolution that is before you, the ability to give alternatives, really, that's really, 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 really motivating. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Don't sit down, just keep up, keep pushing. You guys can be very better and excellent to this. First and foremost, this was a valid debate, which both of you are able to appreciate. I like the fact that, yes, Team Affirmative was drawing the portion to blame on the government. And then I also appreciate the fact that Team Negative was able to come up with an alternative. Remember, in a policy debate, we are looking at something at the expense of another. But now let me just guide you on this. In most cases, whenever the resolution has a drawing word like solely, solely, it means that even you, for example, if you are Team Negative and you are giving me an alternative, put in consideration of all other causes, but give me now a sole alternative. For example, you talked about an alternative to do with personal choice, which at first I thought is maybe your sole alternative, but then again you also brought in truck drivers, poverty, ignorance. Amidst others, now if the government is not solely responsible, now amidst the others, because even your colleagues, they admitted that yes, they are other factors, but the government is solely responsible. Meaning, even you, by virtue that you are in contestation that the government is not solely to blame. So, which is the sole alternative to blame? Number two, whenever you have such a resolution that is before you, and then you give an alternative, you must be able to adduce evidence, precedent, statistics, sources of information that concrete that actually it is that alternative that you have given that is solely responsible and not this. For example, by virtue that Team Negative, you talked about, for example, personal choice. Now, I was waiting for you to give me evidence, give me precedents, give me statistics that outweigh the government being solely responsible and not the personal choice. I like the fact that, yes, you now go to the drawing board where you are removing the burden from the government. I like the fact that you talked about the parish development models, the issue of the NADS, but which issue was now quashed by these people when they talked about the questioning of the corruption that is there within. Appreciation, Team Affirmative, when they talked about the social contract theory. Really? This is in the jurisprudence of the law, the social contract theory. And actually, I was just waiting for them to make a mistake in explaining it, but the explanation was right. What does it say? The role is on the government. The people have a role of voting the government into power. Now, the burden shifts to the government to make legislations which legislations are going to protect, promote, regulate the activities of the citizens. Credit to Team Affirmative. So on grounds that Team Affirmative was able to give a prima facie case, to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt, and on the failure of Team Negative to give a sole factor to blame. These are the marks. For style, I gave both of you 15. Really, that was very good. It was a good performance. Time management, smartness, confidence, articulation, language, tone, humor. Content, I gave them 30. I give you 28 because of their exhaustive content. Strategy, I give them 28. I give you 25. In totality, I give Team Affirmative 73. Team Negative 68. So it is on this grounds that I, as a judge with enough training and expertise, I give a win to Team Affirmative. Thank you.
Personally, this was a very good debate. All of you were on the same page. There was no confusion. Now, Team Affirmative, your argument was the government is solely responsible, and also looking at the resolution, the government is solely responsible for the high levels of Khat consumption. So you made the entire reason as to why there are higher levels of Khat consumption in northern Uganda, and you blamed it on the government as the sole cause. Now, Team Negative, your entire argument was, no, it is not the government. The government has done its part. However, first of all, it is the citizens that have let themselves down. And also poverty, and also unemployment fatigue. Now, Team Affirmative came up and told you, per the social contract, the government, the mere fact that the people have voted the government into power, the government owes the people protection and all that away from what? Consuming Khat consumption. The government is now responsible for providing social services, for stopping Khat consumption in North Western Uganda. Now, Team Affirmative, you came up and told them, no, it is what? It is fatigue. It is unemployment. It is all, and you also mentioned poverty. Team Affirmative came up and drew all those reasons you mentioned back to what? To the government. They even told you, because Team Negative, your case was okay. You even told them that what? The government has provided employment. It has even given out free money through the parish development model. Team Negative rebutted that and told you the government, Team Affirmative, the money that is actually, there are a lot of technicalities, corruption. If the government was doing its part, and that was the major reason that you did not rebut, they told you, if the government was doing its part, there would be a law against Khat consumption. And you did not answer that. The mere fact that there is no law against Khat consumption right now, and there is merely a penalty, which none of you mentioned, and that penalty is all in all on drug consumption. None of you mentioned that. But the mere fact that you failed to rebut the government's failure in making a law, mere making of a law against Khat consumption, that is where I drew the line. I'm trying to be as precise as possible. So I gave both of you 15 for style. You were very good with that. You kept your time very well. Your speeches were okay. You are coherent. We could hear you very well. I gave you 15 for style. For content, I gave both of you 20. Now it is on strategy that I differed. Team Affirmative strategy was more convincing than your strategy. At a point I asked you, I asked myself, what is the sole reason as to why there is high consumption of Khat? Was it the poverty? Was it the fatigue? Was it the unemployment? So at the end of the day, I gave Team Affirmative 25 and Team Negative 22, totaling up to 60 for Team Affirmative and 57 for Team Negative.